Tracy, I'd like to thank you then too, for having all the energy and the vision you had and bringing a source of visibility to SNE that is different than what we've had in the past. Thank you very much. You know, I'll never forget the summer of 1968, because it's the last summer I was ever able to play in my backyard. But what had happened was my dad worked for a commercial bakery. He worked on the muffin line for a commercial bakery, and he got laid off in the spring of 1968. And what happened was he and my mom, within a couple of days, decided two things: that he would take our entire yard, which is the size of this, and he dug the entire thing up except for our swing set and planted a garden in the entire thing. So our entire backyard was a garden. It was like a farm, it seemed like to me. And my mom, what she was going to do is she's going to go to the Iowa State County Extension Service and learn how to can and how to freeze vegetables. And I remember this was coming up, she took a bus to the extension thing. She came back a while later and she said, it was a 3-hour class, and she had all these notes. And she said these mimeograph, you know, oh yeah. And she said, and I think I might have said how'd it go or something. I was 8 at the time, and she said, you know, I just didn't really get it. There's just a whole lot there. I just didn't really get it. And I didn't think anything about that because I was 8 years old. And I think about 30 years went past, and after that I give a talk to all the state extension people in Illinois as a professor with Karen at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I drove back to see my folks in Iowa, and my mom asked what I did, and I said, oh, I just did this thing with the state extension. She goes, oh, I took a course with state extension a long time ago. I go, yeah. And she says, let me show you this. She took out of the piano bench those same notes from 30 years ago, but this time they had little secretarial shorthand in the margins. And I asked her about that, and I said, what's that saying? She goes, well, I didn't understand this, so I went back to state extension, and the woman showed her how to can and boil stuff. Very interesting, because she wasn't concerned with behavior. She was concerned, with education. She was concerned with my mom changing her behavior. And that's why I love SNE so much, is it focuses on behavior. And when we look at some of the things we're looking at in the future, like I said, we're going to be considering a name change to the Society of Nutrition, Education, and Behavior. But it's not just behavior toward what moms like that do who learn how to can. It's not changing the behavior of somebody to eat a little bit better. It's also changing our behavior so we end up being better as professionals, so that our new members end up getting the dream jobs they want, that we end up being effective in the way we want. And I'm not going to share you the strategy stuff we've talked about, but I'm going to share you some interesting little things that have come up just in the last couple days that we might be working toward this next year that will influence you directly. One would be an impact award that's given both to research that has the biggest documented impact on practice, and a practice award that takes a project that you came up with and gives you an award because it had a big impact on, documented impact on behavior. It'd be a student internship program. I'm meeting Monday after next with the president of IFT. They have an incredible internship program. I want ours to be even better. We have the new associate memberships. We're looking at a new division, one that might even look at nutrition therapy. We're looking at a dietary guidelines task force, one that makes sure that in the next 5 years we have SNE members on the dietary guidelines committee, and that the articles in our journal end up being the articles they use when they look at behavior. We're even looking at sort of an international division, expanding and look at multiculturalism. Now, a few days ago, the divisions did something. They were asked to come up with their wildest dreams for the next year and try to share them, even if they're crazy. Because together we can look at wild dreams and see how we can help make them true. I'd like you guys to do the same thing, but I'll tell you what my dream is. My dream is that very soon this society is a society that people want to go to if they want to change eating behavior. Now, not everybody in our profession wants to change behavior. Okay? Most of my co-authors could care less about changing somebody's behavior. They just want to get published. Okay? I know a ton of dietitians out there that are resigned about changing behavior. They just want to give some advice and send the person off. But there are a lot of us who are really hopeful about changing behavior, and we want to do a better job of it. I want this to be the organization where, over the next years, it's somebody who is a food service director and wants to change behavior says, here's where I come. A place where somebody who is teaching home economics or family consumer sciences who wants to change behavior says, this is the place I want to come. I want us to expand the vision of this so that anybody who wants to change behavior sees this as a home. I'd love to get your dreams. Email me, and let's make them come true. Thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.